So what I'm going to teach you today is the pitch. This is your bread and butter. This is how you get all your money. This is how you grow. Think about it. You're never going to be a manager if you can't do well in the store because you can't teach other people. So you have to know this.
Okay.
This is your bread and butter. What we teach is the soft close. I like to put it in terms of like a small formula.
Okay.
So the customer walks in with X.
Okay.
And you're selling Y. And the soft close makes them think, I have X, but you're giving me Y, and what you're giving me is better than what I have. And that's a decision they make in their head. How they do that is we do something by a presentation called the side-by-side, which is you lay out what they have, then what we're offering, and then when they see both of these, they're just going to think that this is better. But before we do that, we have to go over questions you have to ask first, because you're not just going to come up with this information.
No.
All right. Yeah. And we're going to write down 8 questions that you ask. The first is the opener. Who's your TV provider? This is just the people are walking by, people are looking at TVs, you're walking up to them, this is what you ask first.
Who's your TV provider?
Mm-hmm. Second question is, how many TVs do you have? Third question is, how many DVRs? When you're asking how many DVRs, this is something that we like to call ad-libbing. You can find out a little more about the customer, build a little bit of trust between you.
Okay.
So say you have a DVR and I ask you, oh, what do you like to record? You tell me one of the sports, exactly. Like,
okay.
Oh, we actually offer the free NFL Sunday ticket. That's something that you can feed to them, get them more into the pitch, more invested in you.
Okay.
The more that the customer hears that you're listening to them, and the more you know, the more you can build that rapport and get trust. Because they're not, it takes away from you just being some salesman who walked up to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Fourth is, do you have 4K TV? This is just the quality.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if they like sports, you can say that we offer 4K live sports. The only provider that does this. That usually gets them a little bit. I think that's the best bullet we have, is we offer live sports. Mm-hmm. And the fifth is, do you bundle? This is the meat. If you get here, it's a good sign. And if they answer, this is when you get to a price breakdown. Most of the time, people will bundle. Always assume, write this down as well, that they pay about $60 for internet. And actually, when you ask the price, undershoot it a little bit intentionally. Say if I ask you, oh, what are you paying, $140 when you bundle?
Yeah.
60 goes internet, and you have that other 80 for TV. Half the time you're gonna get, no, I pay about $190, $180 for my TV. That's gonna make them feel even worse, because first of all, we're gonna offer a price that's lower than that,
Right.
and they're paying. It feels like they're paying an outrageous price. It's all about getting them to subtly change their mind about what they have.
Okay.
That's the.
What was it? Always assume that they're paying a certain amount?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, assume that their internet is about $60. You can assume a general asking price is about $180. That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, when you get this price breakdown, the next question is very important. Or, well, 6 is what do you pay. That's the price breakdown. Here's a big closer here. What do you watch for X amount? Say it is $180 and you're paying $120 a month. You said you like sports. Are you really going to pay $120 a month to watch sports? The way that we ask it is this. What do you watch for X amount a month? X amount is how much they said they pay for TV. That's going to get them to literally think, what am I paying $120 a month coming out of my budget that I'm just watching on TV? Really gets them to ask, what are they watching? Underline that. Because there's a lot of things you can ad-lib, change a little bit if you still get the point across. So this is a very important line of dialogue.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then 8, a little more ad-libbing. Who does the DVR recording? This is just a little more trust-filled with the customer. A typical response to this typical answer is, oh, the wife does it, or oh, only I do it. And then that's just a really easy question to ask if you want to find out a little more about your customer, if you want to feed off their personality, get a little bounce back going.
Okay.
They're going to say, oh, my wife does it. She likes to record soap operas. You're like, oh, I've been there. Even if you have no idea what he's talking about, hey, you have to build some trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. Okay. Here, so you have these 8 questions down.
Yep.
This is what you're going to be following every single time, basically. It's the order. And here's where we get to the side-by-side. This is what you're going to be writing down on the iPad when you're in the store. This is basically, this is how you get the information. This is where you fill it out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'll do you first. Okay. Just give me some answers. I'll bounce back like you're a customer. So, who's your provider?
Comcast.
Comcast. And how many TVs do you have?
Got 3.
Okay, 3. Okay, so then you ask how many DVRs?
DVRs, only 2.
2. Okay. Assume 130 channels for each DVR. If they don't have a DVR, assume 78 channels. It's just an arbitrary number to be like, that's about what I watch, ish. And on the other side, we're going to offer more. These numbers are intentionally smaller just to get to this side.
Okay.
It's all about the soft close in their mind. That's basically what we're selling to them. And the hard close is something that's a lot harder to learn, but this is your bread and butter. We'll get to the hard close in a second.
Alright.
And then, see in this box here, you can write 720. You're actually not going to bring that up until you get to the right side. This is a number for them, again, just to look at, peruse. Because this is the average set of pixels on a TV, like average quality. And this question is about, do you have 4K? That's why this is written here. And say you're the customer, you don't have 4K. Right 4K? No. Then I'm that. That's canceled. That's out. How much do you pay a month? 180?
Around 200.
Around 200. Say about 60, that's for internet. This is, again, always assume 60 for internet. That's base price, bid average.
Okay.
So you're about 140 for TV. Wow. So what do you watch a month for 140?
Movies, sports, news.
Movies, sports, news. Well, do you watch football?
Yeah.
We offer the NFL Sunday ticket.
Really?
Yeah, just want to say that one. And you said you like movies?
Yeah.
We actually have something called DirecTV Cinema, which is like Netflix and Hulu on steroids. 50,000 shows and TVs, way bigger selection than both combined. That's free if you sign up. What I just did there is offer you bullets. and Sandy likes to call them bullets because they're not needed, but they're used in ad-libbing for the customer. I found out that you like movies, sports. This isn't essential to the presentation. This is when I find out more about you, I'm telling you this because you'd like to hear it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This is tailored to each customer. Yeah. And then, who does the DVR recording?
My wife does.
Oh, your wife?
Yeah.
And I guess about, you can record, average DVR is about 2 shows. You can watch one, get about 100 hours. That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wife says she would like to watch soap operas. Is that
No, she likes watching news. You know.
news? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
News.
Alright, well, this is where we shift, and this is how you do it. Now let me show you what Costco is offering you today. It's very important to say Costco, because I can't underestimate the brand loyalty of Costco. We had a guy who used to work here. He gave his number out in the store, and the customers leave. You think it's like, oh, maybe a typical no, ask for my number, whatever, I'll see you later, you know, didn't really think much of it. He didn't call them back. The Costco customer called the store manager, got a hold of Antonio, and then wanted to find out why the rep didn't call them about finishing the sale. That's how dedicated these people are. To some Costco guy talked to me, I have to finish that. It's brand loyalty. That's like stronger than Apple almost. So, continuing on the pitch, we offered 2 TVs. Well, you can tailor it, but for this example. In here, you're gonna write 200 channels. These two, see these dashes I put above the boxes? These represent DVRs. Here's where you can bring up that each are DVRs. You can record 5 shows, watch one, and you have 800 hours of storage. This is, again, which numbers are bigger here? Yeah.
Okay.
Even if they have a little over 100 hours, assume 100. They're not going to correct you. If they do, then fine. And then we wrote this 720. Remember that?
Yeah.
Here's where you write 1080p,
Yeah.
highest possible. 4K right next to it. More offering. You can even write live sports if you want to bring that up again. Only provider that does that. There's several other bullets we can go over, but I want to just go straight to the price. So, here's what it is. Do the price breakdown, get over here. What we offer for the month, for the first 12 months, say first 12 months have to, we offer $60.49 for what I'm offering you today. And better than $140.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Here's where you bring in Costco again. This is again big for Costco. Because, like I said, brand loyalty, they're in there for a reason. They already trust you.
$67.49 is 3 TVs.
Yeah. $67.49 for 3 TVs. But here's where you ship to Costco. So there's a $75 installation fee. But through Costco, that's canceled. That's out.
Okay.
And then there's a $600 equipment fee that you would normally need to pay. Again, through Costco, that's covered. So, see why it's important that I brought up Costco there?
Alright.
Because you have to make it seem like Costco's really doing them a favor here, which they are. You can even write Costco up here if it makes them feel more comfortable. So we got here, we have the prices for the 3 TVs. We have these canceled prices.
Okay.
Here's the hard close. Ready?
Right.
And all I need from you today is $1 hold on a debit or credit card. And you write $1. And what usually works well, circle that $. Brings a little more focus on the price. And then, here you go. We have the NFL Sunday ticket. We have DTV. Now, if I was to ask you, just both are free, which side would you choose?
Both for free. I'm going with this side.
That's the soft close. You're just asking the question. They already have known this. They already know that 67 is better than 140.
Right.
They already know they have more channels, more DVR space, better pixels, live TV, better quality. You have to ask them and almost get them to admit it. That's big.
Okay.
Let's go over some bullets here. We went over DTV, better DVRs. Oh, here we go. Here's 3 questions. If you do this right, there's 3 questions they should have for you. The first is weather. That's a big one that comes up whenever they see DirecTV. Weather. I heard it goes out during storms. That big clunky satellite's gonna go out as soon as it starts raining. We're in Costco today because we won't even install if there isn't a 99% chance that it'll be working all the time. Like, you have to sell that that will never happen. 99% chance. Reliability. The second is roll to pay. Roll to pay is something you learned about when you were doing the online course, like when you just got hired. Roll to pay. Now we can't use the term negotiate anymore, but here's what we say to customers when the price goes up, because we're obviously never going to lie to them. We're never going to say, oh, it's going to stay at $67.49 till the end of the time. No. For the first 12 months, it'll be $67.49. Just like everyone else, all the other providers, on the 13th month, it goes up. Here's what you do. When you say this to them, you have to seem like you're really giving them some insider information. Like don't throw me under the bus is something Antonio likes to say. Because that establishes even more trust with the customer.
Alright.
Like, don't throw me under the bus risk, but here's what you can do. On the 12th month, call to cancel this. What they're going to do is refer you and get you a lower price. Lower price on that 12th month. Call to cancel. They're not going to want you to leave. They're going to send you to someone else, get you a lower price. That's what they do that. Last one is the internet. Internet's a big question we get usually. So, like I said, when people come in to bundle, like, assume $60 for internet, they usually have a bundle when they come in, but your rebuttal to the internet question is, keep the internet service you have, you're allowed to discontinue the bundle, sign up with a different TV provider, and keep the internet. Or, there's local internet services that can offer you about $50. While this may seem very arbitrary, this question, it comes up all the time, and even your answer, $50, is cheaper than what you assume. There's even a soft close in this answer. It just establishes that you're helping them.
Okay.
What I really like to do is, I like to say, like, look, if they're on the fence a little bit, look, you may even want to write this down. I was put in Costco because they trust us to save you money. We wouldn't be here if we weren't trying to get you a better service for less cost. Any way you can word that, essentially, that's the most trust you're going to build unless you have a heart to heart with this customer. That's one sentence you can say that just validates everything you're getting over here.
Okay, so what was it? I was put in Costco to
Save you money.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it's like you're saying, I'm on your team.
Okay.
There's no reason for me to scam you in that sense, you know what I mean? Like, look, the price is lower over here, we give you more, I'm pitching you this because it's real, you know?
Would you generally show this, like...
Oh yeah,
layout
exactly.
like
This is, bar these questions here. That's what you're asking. This is what's in your notes. This is on the screen of your iPad.
Okay.
Not this. This is all on the screen of your iPad. You are going to be like, you're going to be with a customer on an iPad writing this out. Because the visual, there's 3 ways to learn, or 3 ways that people sense, which is audio, visual, and kinetic. Kinetic being the hardest to learn, in my opinion. Audio, they can hear it. But the visual is the biggest part of this soft close. I've been talking about the difference in these numbers all day. The visual is, you want to write this down because they may not even be listening to you. They might
Right.
just be zoning off. Even if they catch a quick glance, something like, you're paying 140, I pay that, don't have 4K, I'm getting 4K, 720, 1080, 100 hours to 800 hours, channels, like they're gonna see, like, that could just be something that they pick up and process if they're not getting anything else. And it can be any of these three. If you get all three perfectly, it's gonna be a sale, but sometimes people only pick up one. You know? That's why you have to be good at all three. People who are good in the store are great at all three.
Okay.